Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Monday night, it's 7:30. My name's Phil. If you're watching this live, you know the score. You can get your views in, you can get your comments in. We want as much of your views as we possibly can get on screen in the next 30 minutes. There's no script, there's no rules. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. Obviously, 3 games, 3 wins, 9 points. Seen a few fans not happy about that. Perfect start. What more do you want than that? A couple of good goals on Saturday. Perfect things that are going on. Rotherham on Saturday. So much to talk about. Get your views in, get your comments in for the next 30 minutes from me, Phil, live here on Leicester Fan TV. Yes, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Don't forget, wherever you're watching, you can follow us at Leicester Fan TV on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. Please go follow us, enjoy the things, subscribe for free on YouTube as well. What do you want to talk about? Next 30 minutes, it's all over to you. And we're going to give away 1 shirt this live. No, we're going to give away 2 shirts this live. Yeah, we've got one of the brand new away shirts to give away thanks to our pals at Pukka Pies. And we've also got one of the home shirts. It's my fault. I promise you I'd draw it. I've been so busy at work. Apologies. I've just not got around to it. So I'm going to give 2 away in tonight's show. How many shirts? 2 shirts. Come on. If you want to join, if you want to enter that, you've actually still got a chance to. But you can't put it in the comments. You've got to go to leicesterfantv.com competitions and enter there. If you literally want to do that now, you'll still be entered in of how I'm going to draw it, because I'm going to do a random draw at the end of the show. So if you do want to win a shirt, now's your chance. If you've not done it already, and literally hundreds have, then you've got a chance. Craig, good evening to you in there. Richie, good evening. Hope you're well. Happy that LCFC have won 4 games in a row. Obviously, Richie including the League Cup match there. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Michael. Sean says Jamie Vardy's still dangerous and scares the life out of any defence. Was it a penalty, Sean? It doesn't really matter because we scored the goal, but again, he was in there in the box. That, to me, Sean, I don't know if you agree and others watching, that's how Jamie Vardy should be used now. Come on from the bench, 15, 20 minutes to go. Teams like, Rotherham going to think on Saturday when Golden Boot winner, Premier League winner, FA Cup winner, Jamie Vardy comes on the pitch with 20 minutes to go? They haven't got anything like that in their reserves or in their armoury. So it's going to be very interesting. Reedy says we can't be negative at all, apparently. If you've not seen Reedy's video on YouTube, do pop over there. 3 wins, 9 points, joint top of the league. Reedy was still, and I understand what he's saying. If you go and watch Reedy's video, what he's effectively saying is the performance hasn't been outstanding yet. Which, again, if you're being honest, the performance hasn't been outstanding. I'm going to be honest. After about 60, 65 minutes, I was a bit bored at times. I hate to say that, but look, this is the Championship. I don't mind, if you're sort of in there 1-1 in the Premier League against, a Man City, a Tottenham, a Man United at home. But again, I guess we've got to all judge where we're going with it. Enzo is the man with the plan, says somebody in the Facebook group. Chris says, have we signed a new winger? No, there's rumours, though. There is rumours of us going in for this player who's over at Turkey, another winger out there. There's lots of rumours. It's going to be, if you want to talk about transfers, we've got, what is it now, about 9, 10, 11 days till the end of the transfer window. Who's going to come? Who's going to go? Let us know in the views and comments. Dave, good evening. Another win in the bank. That's all I'm bothered about, Dave. Honestly, I hope we see some good performances, but the reality is for me, 3 games, 9 points. Let's make it 4 games, 12 points. Let's make it 5 games, 15 points. Let's just crunch through this season. As they would say, game by game, but just points on the board. What do points make? Prizes. Andy says, evening, not pretty football. No. I agree, Andy, not pretty football, but 9 points and a joint top of the league in there. Patrick says, need to tighten up a bit. In all league games so far, opposition have had good chances to score. It will cost us eventually. I've got to be honest, if I was a Cardiff fan, Patrick, on Saturday, I might have thought I'd been robbed a little bit. They had chances. I know, Patrick, you sit in the stand behind the goal in the family stand, P block, the same as me, Patrick, and that they had a striker there, a player who, again, in the Premier League at 1-1, he would have finished that. There was no way in the Premier League he would have missed that chance, we would have been. I think that's the difference. We're going to get away with it a bit this season. Last season, we wouldn't have got away with it. Ross says in there, 3 wins, 9 points. If anyone is moaning, then you need to get a life. Ross, I think people are allowed to, you're allowed to say, I'm looking forward to, Ross, the performance being better and winning. But don't get me wrong, I'll take bad performance. Oh, no, there wasn't a bad performance. That's wrong to say that. I'll take slightly dull performances and 3 points all the time. Ben says you do enjoy photo bombing. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, I did see you sneaking around there. Just come and speak to us, Ben. Come on camera and give us your views in there. Let us know what you think. Wayne, thank you as ever. Agreeing with me. You don't have to agree with me. I talk nonsense most of the time in there. LCFC Gray says, ooh, Jamie Vardy. Ooh, Jamie. He's still got a part to play. But I think it is from the bench in there. How do we think Nacho did starting this week? Because Nacho can have a great performance, can have a bang poor performance and something in between. Where was it on Saturday? How would you rate Nacho's performance in there? Obviously had that shot in the first half, hit the post. Again, we could have been a couple up in that first half as well. So it's interesting. Andy says Maresca's tactics are cruelty to central strikers. Again, just talking about Nacho there. It is a different. You feel like there may be, Andy, quite a lot of goals coming from midfield and those sorts of areas. I mean, even Callum Doyle was up there in the second half and had a shot. So I think players, and what I've seen, Wout Faes, the previous match against Coventry was right up there. So there is going to be some strange attacking players up in the box maybe, but that's how it's going to be. Ian the Super Fox says, we're developing our new style of play to Enzo's brief. Flow of the games will come as players all adapt to the championship and we will only get better as the season moves on. Ian, I think you're right. My only thing with that, to be fair with you, Ian, is which of those players are going to be left. Now, listen, transfers, rumours, again, we had this same conversation last Monday, but what are you going to take into it that the following players were not in the squad? So they weren't even on the bench. Patson Daka, is he going to go? Sumari, he's another one. I don't mind. He can go. But then you've got Castagna, again, Fulham, heavily linked again with him. You've got, who else have we got in there? Dennis Pratt. I believe Dennis Pratt was a knock and not in there. But then you've got the likes of Sutar. And you've got Victor Christensen and Sutar signed to play in the Premier League in January. I do want to, again, you know me, I always say you can watch these videos back. I think we have got a question. Who bought Sutar and Victor Christensen in January to the extent that they're not good enough because they're not playing in the Championship? So who signed them in January going, these guys are going to keep us in the Premier League? And actually, they're not good enough for the Championship. Listen, I'm only going, they're not in the team. So either Enzo's put them to one side and says, I don't want to break these toys before I sell them, or he's saying they're not good enough, or he's teaching them a lesson. Why are they not in the squad? Why are they not on the bench? I don't know. I assume they're going to be sold because unless they're injured, which apart from Dennis Pratt maybe being injured, the rest were available to play. Wayne says we still need a forward with a killer instinct. Again, Enzo said last week, Wayne, there's nobody coming in till players go out. Yeah, Rudy, Turkish winger inbound imminently. I think there'll be players out, players in. It's going to be very different. It's going to be busy 11 days on Leicester Fan TV because there is going to be lots of ins and lots of outs in there. Peter, good evening, says, some great football first half and we will get better. The fans need to remember we're not playing hoofball. I agree, Peter. And again, fans have to be patient, Peter. I don't know about you. There was 3 or 4 like long diagonal from one sort of fullback area over to the other, to the winger that really didn't come off and ended up into the stands. And you've sort of got to bear with it a little bit because you've got to sort of think, it's a different type of playing in there. TJ, good evening, says, I wasn't expecting the start of the season to be all guns blazing. I'm happy if we're winning games. 100% agree with you. I think you've got to, honestly, I walked out of there on Saturday and I'll say the same every game this year, and you can hold me to it. You can hold me to this. It's about the points on the board. It really is. The performances, we'll have some good performances. We'll have some, you could argue the first 3, we're sort of 9 points and you think, could we have lost to Coventry? I think we could have lost to Coventry. Did we really deserve to beat Huddersfield? It certainly could have been a draw. Did we deserve to beat Cardiff? And I'll go, well, we had some chances, but they had some chances. It wouldn't have been that out of the realms to be sat on 4 points maybe after that and be mid-table, and we might be a bit grumbly, but we're not. We're on 9 points. Reedy says, even Phil sees where we're coming from. We didn't deserve to win versus Cardiff. We made that look hard. That's all. Yeah, really, this is what I'm just saying. I think that, you know, it's going to be tricky, but we've got the 9 points. Chris says here, 9 points out of 9 and still plenty of room for improvement in exciting times ahead. Chris, that's it, 9 points. Gav says here, we need a striker. A lot. I mean, do you agree with Gav? Do you need a striker? Who would you go for? Are you all going to say Piero from Swansea? Where are you going to go with this? Let me know in the comments. Do you think we need a striker? I think it's going to have to be after Patson Daka's gone, if he's going. But surely he's going to go. Daka's got to go. He's not playing. How can you be? You can't be in the Championship and have a £20 million striker who doesn't even get in the squad. Surely he's going, isn't he? Soumari's going. Castagne's going. These players, those three are for sure going, aren't they? There's no way. I mean, forgive me, they weren't injured on Saturday, were they? I mean, as far as I know, they weren't injured in there. Andrew's saying, I think Souttar is better than Vestegaard. So, Andrew, this is cue the point where, shall we talk about Vestegaard? Andrew, I know, I'll put it out there, talk about Vestegaard. Listen, I'm going to say about Vestegaard, I thought his performance on Saturday, it probably shows that Vestegaard is a decent Championship centre-back, if you ask me. He dealt with most things well, a few things really well, and of course there was the obligatory, it's going to happen at least once every game, where the ball just pops over the top. I mean, if managers watch Leicester for very long, I would just sit there. If I was Cardiff, there was times with Cardiff, I'm like, why are you playing pass it round the back football, which they were trying to do? I'm like, you're not that good, Cardiff, to be doing it. Pop it over the back and one-on-one. There was once in the second half where Vestegaard, honestly, he looked like his boots had got cement in there. But that is what Vestegaard's like. It's like turning a steam ocean line around. It's not going to be quick. But I thought he had a decent game. I think Vestegaard can cope at the Championship level. They clearly don't fancy Souttar. So I hear what you're saying there, Andy, but I don't think they fancy Souttar. So interesting to see what they're saying there. Richard says here, Castagne wanted by Fulham. Daka wanted by Monaco. Daka was rumoured to be wanted by Roma. Castagne was rumoured to be wanted by Roma, Juventus. You know, these players will get these sorts of things, and I think they'll go. Surely they're going to go because they're not in the squad. Don't forget, by the way, we have got today 2 football shirts to give away. We've got one of the orange away kits, thanks to the guys at Pukka Pies, thanks to Nick and all the guys over there. We've also got a home kit as well to give away. So if you haven't entered, and I know literally, I think we've had about 3,000 entries on each of them. So you're still in with a chance. If you want to go and enter, you have to do it now. We're going to draw this in about 10 minutes time. So you have to go to LeicesterFanTV.com/competitions. You can go and do it now and they will get entered in. I'm going to draw it live in front of you so you can see it's no fix. And we'll pick 2 winners for 2 shirts. And to be fair, if you want to pick, if they both want the orange shirts, they can have that. If they both want a black shirt, you can pick. You can pick. Don't you worry. So get your views in, get your comments in. Last chance to enter that if you want to. Matt saying Vestegaard should be going. Don't think he's going to, Matt, because nobody's going to pay him 68 grand a week. So for me, Vestegaard is going to stick around because you wouldn't pay Vestegaard 68 grand a week for that, would you? 68 grand a week. I wouldn't mind 68 grand a year. 68 grand a week to play for our beloved Leicester City and be that level. I did say, I was talking, by the way, to the lads in the office, people like Reedy and Jake and Sam, who you see on some of these videos. And I did say, I know I'm turning into a miserable git, but I look at some of the current crop of players in there, and much as I love Leicester City, they're not the best evers I've seen for a long time, and some of the performances. So, you know, there is the likes in there of Soumari, Daka, Vestegaard, and you go, hey, listen, Nick says here, if Daka goes, we need to sign a striker like Perori, would be first choice, or someone who knows the Championship to come in. There's rumours that he might be 14, 15 million. Surely we've got that, Nick. 14, 15, even 20 million. We've sold Maddison, we've sold Barnes. Daka and Soumari and those go, we're going to have a few more quid in the kitty, and the FFP should be right down there because of the wages in there. Now, As if you didn't know, here comes Ross. Ross is Mr. Rotherham. He lives up there. He's as excited as a kid in a sweet shop this weekend, aren't you, Ross, mate? He says, Rotherham won't be easy. From what my mates have told me from down here, they work on the counter-attack. Ross, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this a lot this season. I don't want to be a massive swellhead being a Leicester fan. We're all this, we're all that. That Rotherham are literally not in the same calibre as Leicester City. Look at their players. Look at their squad depth. I hate to say it, but honestly, if we sold we bought Patson Daka for £20 million. If we sold Patson Daka for £20 million, King Power could probably go and buy Rotherham Football Club, the whole thing, the stadium, the training ground, all the players. I would think you could buy Rotherham Football Club for 20 million quid. And that's one of our players who doesn't make our squad on a match day. And I hate to talk like this, but that is where we have got to go and beat Rotherham and get 3 more points, because their players are not on the same calibre. They're not being paid the same money. I know you've got to put in the performance, you've got to put the effort in, but we are in no shape or form. If Jamie Vardy's still on 100 something grand a week, you know, if Kinnan Dewsbury Hall's on 50, 60, 70 grand a week, these players, you know, the Rotherham players, Rotherham's total budget this year, apparently, for wages is 5 million quid. Leicester's is 65 million pounds. Do the maths. That means we're spending literally 12 times more than Rotherham on wages. So for me, and I don't want to be this, I don't know what you guys think, but I hate to say it, but for me, there's no way we shouldn't be beating Rotherham. Absolutely no way. Always Hungry says it has to be a battering. To me, I don't want to be cocky because we can't take any. We haven't proved yet that we can do anything, but it has to be a battering, like Always Hungry says there. Richie says we'll beat Rotherham away. I agree in there. I agree. Yeah, Rotherham took 4 points off Sheffield United last season, but look at Sheffield United's squad last season was nowhere near like the squad we've got this season. Honestly, I don't want to underestimate them, but I do think it should be a Leicester win. Will says, I thought we'd kick ass on the first 3 matches and we've not. We've been bang average and feel lucky to win 3 games. Why would Rotherham be any different? I think you could well be right, Will. I think I don't think it will be easy. I'm not taking it easy, but I think we will win. When you look at our bench of players who can come on with 15, 20 minutes to go, whatever the score, whether we're winning, drawing or losing, the players we can bring on for the last 20 minutes who are being paid 50, 60, 70 grand, who were bought to play. You've got to remember, guys, these players were brought in to play. A lot of them were brought in to play not just Premier League football, but they were brought in to build the team and be part of a team that was playing Europa League football, these players. That's what a lot of them were brought in to play and being developed through Premier League. That's a Premier League squad still out there. And I say this in the nicest way. Winks has come in and probably looked one of the better players. Even I'd have had Winks in the side. I'd rather had Winks in the side last season in the Premier League than a couple of the others. Do you agree with me? I hadn't even thought of that as a topic. I wish we'd had Winks in the side in the Premier League because he shows more bottle, he shows more determination, more hunger, more skill, and I know it's at a lower level, but I wish we'd have had Winks in that side last season because I think he would have helped us stay up. I really do. Really, really liked it as well, by the way. Don't know what Wout Fies is doing at one point in the second half. Let me know if you spotted it. But Winks gave him a nice little sideways pass. Fies, not for the first time, miscontrolled it and let it go. And then between them, they're having a right little yabby. And I was like, fair play, Winks. Have a go at Fies because he's got to get on top of that. And Fies seemed like he was moaning at Winks for it not being put on a carpet of rose petals. And it was fine. It was a fine pass. But anyway, let us know what you think to that. I'd have definitely had Winks in the Premier League last season. Gary says, I think we still need a holding midfielder. If Winks get injured, I do agree with you, Gary. If Winks gets injured, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what the plan is. So I'm just like, please, Winks, don't get injured. But I think he's done brilliant. Gav says he agrees with me. Will says Winks is class quality on the ball. We are at championship level, but I think he would have done all right in the Premier League. I would have been quite happy to have Winks in our side if we were in the Premier League. Nick says, why are people so annoyed we've not smashed teams 5-0 every week? We have a new manager, new staff, new players. It takes time. Just think, yeah, we don't need to beat them 5-0. You're quite right. It'd be nice to. I think we will beat a few teams 3-4, 5-0. I really do, Nick, and it could be Rotherham on Saturday in there. Winks is better than Tielemans. Sean, I agree. Look, we saw Yuri Tielemans play in the Premier League at that level against Man City's, Liverpool's, Man United's, and Winks this season is playing against Coventry, Huddersfield, and Cardiff. It's not. It's hard to compare eggs as eggs, but from what I've seen from Winks, above all, he looks bothered. He absolutely looks bothered, and the being bothered bit is what we didn't have last season. Joe says can't take any win for granted, Phil. Rotherham win 3-0. So QA Rotherham win 3. Joe, not quite understanding what you mean at the end there, but it's interesting. Facebook group user says Winks has come in with a point to prove and looks a class above in there. I do. LCFC Grey fella, I've got faith. I think we're going up. I honestly do. I think we should do, because if you ever watched the film Moneyball and you look just at stats, look at the stats, look at what this player's done before. Look at Daka. He should rip up the Championship because of what he's done before at RB Leipzig. Sumari. These players are far too good for this level. So I think we should do it, just a Moneyball it out. Nick says Reedy wouldn't have had a Winks in the Premier League. He'd had the right jump when we signed him. Andy says Rotherham would be a tough nut to crack like Huddersfield. I agree, Andy. I definitely agree. But that last 15, 20 minutes, when you've got people like Jamie Vardy to come on from the bench and Dennis Pratt and, whoever's not playing, you've got the quality to come on. That's when the difference really kicks in. Always Hungry says Faze has been decent, but he isn't anyone to moan at others' passing abilities. I agree. I don't think he had a great game on Saturday. I'm to be convinced whether Wout Faze is bothered about playing in the Championship, or if he's playing a little bit like, I don't really want to be here. That's my take on how I see Faze's body language to be in there. Sean says Sumari, checkbook player. Where is he, Sean? Honestly, there's no sign of Sumari. Gareth saying, considering we are not at our full potential yet, 9 points on the board with average performances, can't complain. I think, Gareth, that's probably exactly sums it up absolutely perfectly in there. Is Daka off to Monaco? Says Gary. There's rumours that it's Monaco. There was rumours it was Roma. I'll get him a taxi if he needs it. LCFC Grey says here, we support the Leicester, and that's the way we like it. We like it. I tell you what I did like, LCFC Grey, was hearing E-I-E-I-E-I-O. I've got my lad who's 21. I'm like, do you remember this song? Because obviously last time we were in the Championship was a good old 10 years ago, and he would have been only 11. And he goes, yeah, I think so, Dad. Just about. But I was like, oh, it's always been one of my favourite songs. There you go. Silver lining to being in the Championship. We get to sing E-I-E-I. Up the Football League we go. Dean says, Daka didn't play at RB Leipzig. Do you know where did he play? It was Red Bull somewhere. Where did he play? RB Salzburg, wasn't it, Dean? He scored a hatful of goals. I think he scored like 50 goals in 80 games, but it was in like a pretty average team. Thank you. Really says RB Salzburg. I know it was one of the Red Bull teams. RB Leipzig. All European. Can't worry about European teams now. I've got to worry about Rotherham on Saturday. Vestegaard has played well in the 3 games. Credit where credit is due. I thought he's been all right, Harry. Honestly, I'm with you. He was okay. He's just going to get turned. He's when that ball goes over the top. And honestly, if you were the Rotherham manager on Saturday, I would just say every now and then, ping it over Vestegaard's, be on him, and you'll be past him. Honestly, I reckon my grandmother's dog could beat him. Thank you. Thank you, Imran. Hope you're well as well. Didn't see you there on Saturday, Imran. Hope you went and enjoyed it. Come and see us next time after the game, Imran. Give us your views. Always value, though. Terry says it was Red Bull in Asda. He needs a Red Bull. Trust me. Everybody tells me, by the way, I'm not telling you this to a Daka hating session. Everybody tells me how fast it is. I haven't seen him be fast yet. Who would you... What a great question. Who would you drop when Cody is fit, says Andy. I'm probably going to go with Vestegaard. Just at the moment, like I said, Wout Pies, I don't think he's been that convincing, but I would think it would be Vestegaard. Who would you say, Andy? And anybody watching this, let us know who would you drop. I think Connor Cody is still a few games away. I don't think he'll be back in here. Maybe for a couple of games, and you don't want to rush him back in. Imran said Vestegaard is our weakest link. I think he's been strong, but there is that ball over the top. Imran goes on to say, drop him. Richie says, Fies, he would drop. Rob says Doyle. Rob, I'm surprised at Doyle. I've been pleasantly pleased with Callum Doyle. I think he's been pretty confident on the ball. I like the cut of his jib. I think he looks solid, Rob. And to be fair, out of those three, I wouldn't drop him in there. Ben says Doyle looks class. I thought Doyle has been good. But again, Rob says Doyle's made multiple mistakes and is questionable defensively. He's certainly good going forward. And I think he looks confident when he gets the ball and traps it down. So I think he's done well. But Richie's saying he thinks Connor Cody's back at the end of September. Yeah, I'm hearing it's going to be a few more games. Richie says Vestegaard. Nick says Vestegaard out and Cody in. And again, Reedy says if we are still winning, 8 wins in 10 games, I wouldn't even say come straight back in. It'd be unfair on Vestegaard. Yeah, I think you're right. You've got to take it on a game-by-game basis. Impressed with Doyle? Yeah, I've been impressed with Doyle. I'm surprised. I was a little bit surprised by that comment, but let me know if you think I'm laughing because I am Vestalump. Oh, dearie me. Wayne says Fies will be gone by the time Cody comes back. I do wonder, Wayne, whether he is. Some of his comments last week were a little bit like, I'm here at Leicester to, get them back up. But he did leave the door open with a bit of a come and get me if you want in there, didn't he, as well in there. Ian says drop Fies and Vestegaard. They're both too slow. Doyle and Cody at the centre-backs. You need a third one in there, Ian. Who are you putting in? Let me know. Richard says, I thought Ndidi has played well, but he could be going to Bayern Munich. Richard, anybody else find it incredibly weird to see Wilfred Ndidi so far up the pitch? I almost wonder, what is Wilf's role there? What is he meant to be, just breaking up the play further up the pitch? Because he's not what you call a cam, isn't he? He's not a central attacking midfielder. He's like a central forward defensive midfielder. What is his role? It's a strange one to see him up there. And Imran says here, what's your views on the forward three? Still think a bit short on a winger and a striker. I hear what you're saying, and Ndidi's obviously almost in that front three at times, Imran, isn't he? Which is a bit strange. I think, like Marcel, obviously scored a great goal on Saturday. Loved that. Really loved his goal. Great hit, and great for a youngster on a sort of a home game like that to bury it in the goal and then go screaming off. Mavadidi, I thought he's done okay. McAteer, again, popped in and popped out again. They're young lads, most of those, so it's going to be an interesting one to see how they develop. Rob says Doyle has left Vestegaard in the lurch once or twice, trying to play too far up the pitch. I think, Rob, you could be right. I've not watched back the one where Vestegaard completely gets stuck in the sand, and it might be because Doyle's, gone way too far forward. We're lucky the opponent's strikers the last few weeks couldn't finish a warm dinner. I agree with that. A better team than Cardiff could well have won. A better team than Coventry could well have won, and the same for Huddersfield in there. So we've got to not get too carried away in it. Richard says Ndidi is a defensive midfielder, but I think Enzo has asked him to play a more attacking. Well, that's what I'm saying. What was his position on Saturday? You can normally say, oh, he's a right winger, he's a left winger, he's a striker, he's a cam, he's a centre back, whatever. What was Wilf's actual role, position name on Saturday? I guess just midfielder. I don't know. It's an interesting one in there. Joe says, after watching the first 3 games, what do you think our points tally will be at the end of the season? Well, I'm hoping, Joe, it's up there, in the 90s or something, so that we go up in the 1 or 2 positions. I honestly do. Are we still carrying 4 too many registrations for? 4 too many players, Phil. There's going to be some players go, and there's going to have to be a couple come in. There is definitely going to have to be it in there. Andy says, got to give the young lads a chance to settle in. They'll come good. I think they've had good signs, like we're saying. Mavadidi, McAteer, Marcel, the new lad from Chelsea. They've all done well. They've done well so far. 2 goals from 2 new young boys on Saturday. That's nice to see. Now, listen, we've got to give away these T-shirts. I've been rattling on. Now, let's see. Has anybody entered? If you've not entered by now, you've probably blown it. So the competition, I see a few of you have. Well done over the last few minutes. There's been another little barrage come in. It was at leicesterfantv.com/competitions. You're probably about done. Now, I've got them all here on my iPad. Hopefully you can see that. Literally, I'm going to do it this way. Can you see? Every one of those emails is confirming somebody has entered. And I kid you not, there's been 3,000 or 4,000 of these done. So I am going to just scroll at random and then pick one. Okay, so I'm not even going to look. Let's just scroll. You can see it scrolling away. And I'm going to pick this one. Ian Wright. Can you see that in there? I'm going to take a screen grab of that. Ian Wright, you've won one of the shirts. Well done to you, mate. I think there's an Ian Wright. Watches this sometimes. So let's pick another one. I'm going to completely scroll around. I'm going to go all the way through like this. Look, it's rolling away. You can see it scrolling. And let's pick this one. Miss Ange 88. Sounds like a dodgy website. Miss Ange. It's Angela Anderton. Angela, you've just won a shirt. So I'm going to take a screen grab of that. Job done. So well done to Ian Wright and Angela Anderton, or she likes to be known, Miss Ange 88. Well done. That's 2 shirts. And thanks so much to the guys at Pukka Pies for the shirt. Much appreciated. And of course, all the people who sponsor it. A big happy birthday to Nigel Pearson, who turned 60. Well, there you go, Ross. Thank you for that. I didn't know that today. The legend, the ostrich, big. Yeah, congratulations to both talking about the shirts. Well done in there. Facebook user says we need more than 100 points to beat Burnley's record. I'm not fussed about records. The only thing we need to do is go up. That's it. That's all we need to do. And so far, so good. 3 games, 9 points, joint top of the league, Rotherham on Saturday. I think, like me, most of you can only see a Leicester win. Not being cocky, it just has to be. Look at the paper, look at the teams, look at everything that's going on at the 2 clubs. You could sell one Leicester player, buy Rotherham Football Club. I don't want to be big-headed about it, but we've got to go there full of confidence. Rotherham should look at Leicester and go, whew, these boys, they're Premier League side, Premier League players, 9 points out of 9. If we go a goal up, honestly, they should start looking at the next fixture and be going, who do we need to be beating? Right. Thanks, everybody, for all your views, all your comments. It's been a pleasure. We can't do this show without you. It's all about your comments. We just go where you want to take it. So see you every Monday night out there. And don't forget, plenty of other shows this week. We've got Championship Chat with Locks every Thursday at 7:30. So join in for that. Sam and Reedy will be doing a match preview and tactics show. Looking forward to the Rotherham game. Elijah and Michael will be doing the watch along on Saturday, all the way over from Seattle and Toronto. Our far-flung Foxes look after the watch along for us if you can't get to the game. And, of course, the one and only, the famous Fox's Arms aftermath show on Sunday with Jamie, 9:30. And don't forget, if you want to have a pint with him, he's out there in Alcudia, sat the wrong side of the bar, drinking his own beer, wasting all his own profits, and occasionally taking a pizza out for those who want to eat it. So I'll see. He's not doing that. He works like a real trooper, honestly. That's what he tells me. Anyway, I'll see you all very, very soon. Next Monday, we'll be back at the same time and do it all over again. Come on, Leicester. 4 games, 12 points, top of the league. That's what we need next.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co Estate Agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.